But he said before that, yeah, they were about it. She was in favor. She was when she was in there before, so she did that.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, VanBuren.
Yeah.
Van Hupp.
Here.
Jeff Kenny.
Here. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we go ahead and,
We have a couple guest speakers here that want to discuss.
Thanks. We have an emergency protocol for a lioness that is located on Brownsville Road, and we need to have paperwork signed.
Kind of explain to the board, I mean, kind of what's.
Basically, this in here tells everything that we would do to ensure the safety of her not escaping. In an emergency, we will double enclosure her and lock her down, in case of fire, tornado, flood. She is to stay locked down until the all clear has been given. So, she does have, what, $200,000 liability insurance policy on her. I'm registered with the state of Ohio. I'm working on getting my permit, but this is one of the requirements for my permit is to have the township get a copy of this and sign it. And I brought two because I didn't know who all was going to be here, but
It's just gonna be for one animal, correct?
yes,
And
just
you don't
for
have
one.
it yet? You do, or do you have possession of it now? Okay.
Yes, we've had possession since she was about 2 days old.
Okay.
So,
We're out on Brownsville Road.
right beside Waste Management,
Okay.
we bought the 19 acres that's out there.
Okay.
And then one copy will stay in here, and then the other copy will go to the Ohio Department of Agriculture.
Where you guys put the driveway in?
Yes, for the driveway's putting in.
Cool.
You read that into the record, please, Dan?
I, blank of blank, have received a copy of the emergency protocols for the lioness located at 12103 Brownsville Road, Glenford, Ohio. I understand that a copy of this letter will be given to the Ohio Department of Agriculture and will be kept on file for the dangerous wild animal permit that Tessa Compton has applied for.
I see it.
I'm not familiar with where this would fall under our duties as trustees in the ORC. I don't recall ever reading anything about our approval being needed for something like this.
I don't think it does, but I wanted to, for all of you to be aware that she is there. I have already contacted the sheriff's department and the fire department because it's a requirement. I'm just doing something extra so you know that she's there.
And this will be kept with us?
Yes.
Cool.
See that?
You want two of us on?
Whoever wants to sign it, one copy can stay in the folder and then I'll turn the other one into the Department of
Or
Agriculture.
keep it in the folder. Or was there already one in the folder?
He signed it, that's fine, I don't need that signature. Just so he knows it's on the top. Put his name, Township on top.
Here, I'll fill it out.
We'll put this in here.
Jenny, I'd like to have a copy of that for my own records, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Curious, you guys plan on having anything else in the future?
Horses,
Horses.
That's curious.
cows,
Nothing that has to be registered with the state.
how about camel?
Yeah. Cool, thanks guys.
Thank you.
If you guys want to stay, we'll walk.
Same here, good luck.
I don't think there's any other guest speakers.
Okay, correspondence.
I have the, we'll do that later, right? You wanna do that later?
Yeah.
I didn't get very much. I did receive, I think everybody did. Did y'all get the schedule for the bridges that are gonna be repaired in the county? Our two bridges, Cherry Hill will be done, it says, by August 27th. And Laurel Hill says it'll be done by September 24th. I'm not sure where Laurel,
Somerset Road.
Somerset.
it says Laurel Hill. Somerset's supposed to be done March 23rd.
They set beams, started setting beams across.
Yeah, they're not even.
Oh, completion date, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong date. April 22nd, so it still should be done. I think I emailed to all this. And then I got the notice from the Licking County Board of Elections about the election. They need to have access to the building Sunday, May 4th at 12:30 p.m. for delivery. So I don't know who wants to.
Make sure Dawn gets it.
Yeah, I'll tell Don to make sure
You say 12:30?
Yes, May 4th at 12:30. We'll have Don take care of that. That's all I have.
Couple things I had, a couple thank yous to some people. Want to thank Jan and Sally Bryan, they purchased a new microwave for the community building, so that's definitely appreciated. Want to thank them for that. And then also, I think the Friends of Bowling Green Township will talk about this, but I wanted to thank everybody that took part of the Easter egg hunt, all the donations that we received, the coffee, the cookies, people coming in to help. Also thank Kroger's for donating $20, so I just wanted to extend that out there. That's all I have in correspondence.
I attended the engineer safety workshop. And I picked up some extra copies here of the township road crashes by severity. That was like a half-day workshop. LTAP newsletter. Licking County Planning Commission met yesterday. Wasn't anything on the agenda for our township. National Road Yard Sale, attended that meeting, got a few extra flyers here. The dates are Friday, May 30th. Well, super weekend sales are May 30th through May 31st, but the actual sale starts in some places May 28th, which is a Wednesday, and goes till Sunday, June 1st. Attended the Licking County Advisory Committee meeting yesterday, and tentatively in July, the extension is celebrating their centennial year, so in July there's going to be some kind of a garden-related event at their facility. And just in case you guys didn't have copies, since hopefully you got on the agenda to talk about the building rules and application. I don't see it on there, I asked it to be on there. But anyway, made sure that I brought copies for everybody, in case you hadn't reviewed that yet. And that's it. We did also get correspondence from Amy. I see that you printed us out a copy of that in regards to the CMI versus Bowling Green Township case.
Okay, that's all the correspondence. Safety, I think everything's all taken care of on that. Fire company, zoning, Barb have any?
She gave me a report. She didn't have any permits this month. Wait a minute.
Is there a copy of that in here?
No, there is no copy of that, but there is, first she says there's no permits, and then she listed a permit, so. There was a permit given at 15861 Main Street, Brownsville, for a new building. They're removing a trailer, replacing it with a modular with a basement. And she says she's working on complaints that were called in, as well as completing the new add-on timeline from the prosecutor's office. Also a change in the zoning inspector's, OPERS will no longer allow me to report quarterly for anybody. So now the zoning inspector will be turning her time in monthly and being paid monthly instead of quarterly, which is not going to affect how much she makes, just when she's getting paid. So that's all.
What's the reason for that change?
Ohio Public Employees Retirement System no longer accepts quarterly reports.
Did they just send a notice on it or something?
Yes, they did.
They got to do it, huh?
Is that it?
So that was all that was on the report.
Zoning appeals, they haven't done nothing for a while.
Yeah, we had
We need to talk about that at some point.
the people that are expired.
Oh, okay, yeah, we can just talk about that.
Yeah.
So for the zoning appeals board, there are two people that are expired.
Right.
Mike Zinsmeister expired on February 22nd, 2014. Jeff Barrett expired February 26, 2013.
Wasn't able to get a hold of either one of them.
I tried, I couldn't hold them.
There haven't been any updates at all since 2012?
No, I looked back through the minutes and double checked, and there has been no other changes.
Do we have anybody that's interested in being on the zoning appeals board?
Ed,
Yeah.
and Thomas Clayton is also interested.
Got another one right here.
Oh, sorry. I was looking, I didn't see.
You guys are interested in the appeals board? Both of you?
Yeah.
Since we have two positions open, I'll make a motion that we appoint, do we have to move an alderman up or anything? Or we just appoint the two positions?
I don't know that you have to.
Did you talk to,
Hedges and Livingston are alternates. I left that off to you.
Jack here.
Iris is here.
Jack,
Yeah, Jack's right here.
do you want to remain as an alternate or do you want to sit on the board?
Oh, remain all
Alternate, okay. So then we have two board positions open, correct?
Yes.
I'll make a motion.
wait a second, have you talked to Livingston, Zinsmeister, or Baird, or any of them?
I tried contacting Zinsmeister and Baird, there's no response. I'm not able to get through both. So I'd like to make a motion that we appoint Ed Monroe and Thomas Clayton to the two vacancies for the zoning appeals board.
No, second.
Edmund Ryan, Thomas Clayton.
Correct.
We have discussion now on that then? I think before we take action on this, that we should, the next thing you're probably gonna do is go under zoning commission. And if I've got this right, there's actually 3 on that that have expired. So there's 3 positions there.
And there are 2 of them that would like to be renewed on that.
Well, my point here is that there's multiple positions in both. And I know in the past, when we had multiple positions, we did advertise it. And I think it's important that some kind of actual contact be made with Zinsmeister and Baird to make sure that they don't want renewed, because in the past, we've always renewed everybody that wanted to continue.
My motion stands.
Roll call, VanBuren,
Yeah.
Hupp,
Yes.
Corpenny.
No.
So on zoning commission, we have Gary Stepp, Tom Robb, and Shannon Duvall have expired. Tom Robb called me and also called Danny VanBuren and said he would like to remain on the board. And Shannon Duvall would also like to remain on the board, so we have Gary Stepp's position to do something.
See you here tonight.
Do we have anybody in here that would be interested in being on the zoning commission board? Anybody else? No. Well, I'll make a motion that we reinstate Shannon Duvall and Tom Robb, and also add Ron Duvall to the zoning commission board. Did you want to move up from an alternate to a member?
No, I'm fine.
Are you sure?
I am an alternate now.
Yes. Do you want to be a member?
Yeah, why don't you take me a member?
Well, I'm going to retract that motion then. You want to be a member? Sure.
So, are you starting over?
Yes. Let's see, who's expired
You're doing this all in one motion?
first? No, we'll do a couple of them
Gary Stepp, and then Tom Robb, and then Shannon, in that order.
here. Okay.
Come on.
What's that?
You would make, what, Ron be an alder?
He said it'd be an order.
Okay.
Okay, and then Dee's moving up.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we move Dee Cryer to an actual position. Keep Shannon Duvall and Tom Robb in positions. And put Ron Duvall as an alternate.
And I'll second it.
Under discussion, is there a reason why you're putting this all together as one motion?
To get
Because I don't have any problem at all with the alternates moving into the other positions. It's been the way we've always done it. We've made it available to them first. But I do have an issue with Mr. Stepp, because at the last meeting, he indicated to the board that he had an interest in continuing. So you're treating him different than everybody else that you're discussing tonight.
We have the right to appoint who we want to, who we feel necessary. My motion stands.
Roll call.
Could you please read the entire motion before we vote?
Ben made a motion to move Dee Cryer to a permanent position, to keep Shannon Duvall and Tom Robb as at a permanent position, and to name Ron Duvall as an alternate position. Seconded by Dan VanBuren. Roll call vote.
Wait a
Dan.
second. Where's the part about removing Gary Stepp? It's not in your motion.
Isn't it obvious?
We'll put in there that Ron's going to replace Gary.
And really Dee's replacing Gary.
Now, his expired anyway, so we're filling his position. So.
That's irrelevant, because we went through this before. We were concerned about the viabilities of the board, and we were told that even if it was expired, they were still on the board until they were removed or they left. That was the stance on that, through the legal
I guess he's
counsel.
been removed.
If you don't mind, can you read it the way it's going to be in the record?
Ben made a motion to remove Gary Stepp and replace with Dee Cryer. And keep Shannon Duvall and Tom Robb in their current position, and Ron Duvall as an alternate position.
Very good.
seconded by Dan. Roll call vote, Van Buren,
Yeah.
Hupp,
Yes.
Horpenny,
Yeah.
Thank you for volunteering to be on this board.
Are you gonna be updating this?
yes, sir,
Can you post it in here somewhere?
sure.
Okay, we're on unfinished business.
Comprehensive plan, I don't think it was
Then the only thing I had, we did have two members who quit, and I know it was just kind of whoever wanted to be on that. And I do, want to again ask if anybody wanted to be on that.
Okay. I mean, is anybody interested in being on the comprehensive plan committee? How many members do you have on there now? How many people are involved now?
I think, is there five? Five?
If anybody's interested, it's not an appointed position. It's not an actual appointed position, correct? So if anybody's interested, they can just
Yeah,
talk to
they
you.
can just,
Alright, let's see if we can find some interest.
Oh, I should say that we are collecting the statistics from the fire departments.
Okay. When's your guys' next meeting? Do you know?
We-
Set one. Okay, that's fine.
As soon as I get that information from Glenn, we will have a meeting.
Okay.
Okay. New business, no, unfinished business. The trash.
I think that was the hearing that we had. That would be
Yeah.
Yeah, people. There was a hearing that was held, it was Bowling Green Township versus CMI. Since CMI continued to pick up trash in the township, we ended up taking it to court. There was a judgment that was entered in our favor. But there was no damages that were awarded, on the day of the hearing, so Amy had to turn in some paperwork to the courts, they reviewed it, and then they, awarded damages to us, which we just received this today, in the judgment of $63,650 against CMI to be awarded to Bowling Green Township for violating the single hauler contract. There's some paperwork here if anybody wants to read it.
How much was that?
$63,650. The total violations were well over 350,000. And then it also says that there was a judgment granting an injunction against CMI to prevent it from picking up trash in Bowling Green Township in violation of the single trash hauler contract that we have with Big O. So they need to stop. If anybody sees them, can witness, can take any pictures of them still doing it, please definitely get them to me. And I'll do a follow-up with Amy. Does anybody have any questions about it? Anything? Nothing?
When will the township open?
Go ahead.
That's gonna put it on the property for money?
For equipment or?
Can I read this stuff?
Does it have
That amount?
everything wrong?
Kind of on the next page.
You could just give them the gist.
It says that they have 30 days to pay for the violations. If they do not pay within 30 days, we can file liens against their property if we wish to do so. That's an option. And then also, if CMI is still picking up in the area, like I said, if we can witness it and have, or have a credible witness or somebody who wants to testify in court, they can file a contempt action to enforce the injunction. So like I said, if anybody witnesses, sees pictures, can take pictures with time, date stamped, and they definitely, I feel it's only fair to who we entered into a contract with, so. If anybody has any questions, definitely let me know. No questions?
That's all we got on.
Ryan's another one, so that's good. Jim Lusk in Linville was having problems there with the neighbor in that alley right away and all that. He came in a couple months ago and talked to us about that. He had asked me if there was any way that the township could have that surveyed. So I took it to the engineer's office and they said that the township could request assistance from the engineer's office to, not to have his property surveyed, but to have that actual alley or right of way the township would own in their survey. So we have to fill out some paperwork if we want to request assistance from them to come and do that. Jim asked if we could do that, so they can mark the pin, so he knows where it's at. It hasn't been maintained, you know.
Or is your pins there?
He doesn't know. He doesn't know, and I don't know. And you know, and I talked to the engineer about it, and they said that, you know, if we filled this out and had 2 signatures, they'd be willing to come out and survey it to mark where those are. I think they're going to mark 4 pins if he's doing the back and doing the front. So.
If they mark these pins, that's not taking an action for us to acquire the
Well, here's what I think.
road, is it?
You know, this is my opinion. It's kind of a dispute that there was never an alley there, and then there was a dispute that there is an alley there. So if they come out and survey this and find the pins to show that there was an alley there, then there is an alley there. If there's no pins, then there's not an alley.
Well, shouldn't we have a township record if it actually was township
But there is
road at some
nothing.
point?
I know Barb has looked into that. There's nothing. I think he said that he's been there 30+ years and there's nothing's ever been done in there.
So what's the purpose of the township owning this?
It's an actual alley that the neighbors are trying to use or are requesting to use to access their property, which is behind him. And he has equipment and stuff like that parked on the alley. I don't know if there's an alley there. You know, some maps show it and some doesn't.
It's not shown on our township road mileage, which I don't believe it is.
Right.
Then it's not the township's property, and I
But
would
then
believe it
also
would be a
some-
civil matter between the 2 neighbors.
But then also some maps do show it marked out in red, which would be a township road.
What maps are you referring to?
Counties.
The eyewitness one that Barb had, but then some of them don't.
Well, there's an official one, we have to go by what the engineers have in their record.
I agree, and that's why I think we should ask for assistance for them too. If there's something there that needs more.
To have them surveyed.
If we can have them survey it without acquiring it, then we can see what they come up with. But I think it's important that we get all the information before we actually take an action to acquire it.
I don't think we're trying to acquire or
I'd
not acquire.
have to go through the state.
Yeah, I don't think it's a matter of acquiring it or not acquiring it. It's
Well, it would have
to
to
market
go
if
on
it's
land.
there. If it's not there, then it's not there.
It would have to go on our road mileage, and right now it's not our road mileage, so
Sure.
it's technically not the township's.
You don't know
I don't have a problem with them coming out and surveying it as a fact-finding thing, to try to figure out what's happened there. That'd be fine.
And I think that's what it is. He came to us to ask us, for one, if it is on a road mileage, if it's been maintained, if not, why hasn't it? If it is our alley, why haven't we been getting tax dollars for it?
Because it's not on our road mileage, that's the reason.
Okay, but then the neighbors are saying that it is, that they have information stating that it is. Do you know anything about this?
What information?
I'm not putting you on the spot. Do you know anything about it?
He's not putting you on the spot.
One thing I can tell you is that I've checked all that down in there, and I don't remember ever seeing an alley there.
Right.
But I can't believe that house closed, and they had a dispute about this alley,
Right.
and the bank still closed on it.
Yeah. I agree.
That's what confuses me.
The map that I looked at, the Barb had showed 2 alleys in Linville, Barrett Lane, and then this one, I think it just had a number on it. I don't think there was a name on it.
Well, Barrett Lane was there, you know,
Yeah.
but they built that house,
All right.
and the bank's not gonna allow, maybe the people before who.
Sure.
owned
But they had access on
Yeah.
Honda Hills too.
Yeah, they come off of Honda Hills to it.
Right.
So that's
Yeah,
how
they
they're
come
on
off
the
of Honda
access.
Hills.
Right.
Mhm.
That's where they all came off
Yeah.
of.
They got more road frontage on Honda Hills.
Yes, they do.
Right.
You said there's no charge on this?
No, he told me there wouldn't be.
Well, I'll go ahead and move that we request the engineer assist us to do a survey, no charge, and give us information regarding this potential alley.
Some paperwork that will need filled out, just basic stuff, and then there's a box here, there's all kinds of boxes checked for roadway, traffic studies, planning, And then one of them is survey township owned property, so that's what we'll check for that. And then
We'll
we'll
have to sit down there and count how many vehicles go in and out.
yeah, we can do that. So we'll fill this out tonight before we leave. That's all right.
Yeah.
Do you want us to go ahead and sign it before we fill it
I
out?
moved the motion, Dan. I'd request that you do it properly.
No, don't do it properly.
Say your motion again, Jeff.
I move that we request the county engineer's office to assist us with surveying this potential alley in Linville.
I'll second it.
Roll call, Dan,
Yeah.
Ben,
Yeah.
Jeff.
Yes?
We'll fill this out. Okay. before we leave. Got that. This was from several months back. We talked about getting rid of the old refrigerator in the township community hall over there. There's some problems with the freezer on it. Instead of just junking it, there were some ideas shot around by a couple of residents that were brought to me that we should call AEP. So I called AEP. They're going to come out and pick it up. I believe it's on May 8th, and they're going to give us a $50 credit on our electric bill. So that will be gone. So we'll be down to one refrigerator. Another thing I had is we trimmed a bunch of trees in the township. I don't know if anybody saw us out doing it, but we're going to try to do it as a yearly thing. To keep up on it. If we can get a couple roads done a year, we really trim them back. We did the village this time. There was a bunch of stuff in the village, up South Street, and then we also were able to do all of Rankin Road. So
Is this excavation unlimited?
that's for the rental of the left. That's all I have under on.
You have any, Jeff?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, new business. Discuss the trash. Is Big O here? Okay. Go ahead, Ben.
We held a meeting this past Saturday over in the community building. It was a public meeting. Anybody was welcome to come over and discuss with us about the trash contract, whether they liked it, didn't like it, any problems they were having. Positive, negative, we welcomed it all, put it out there on the table. We think we had maybe 15, 18 people show up. Had some good discussion on it. We have the right to either not do the trash contract anymore. We have the right to rebid the trash contract if we want to rebid it. And then we also have the right to extend the contract with Big O if Big O is willing to do that. We held that meeting, we discussed all those options, kind of just get public input from people. I know we've had public input throughout the past 3 years on it. I know there's a couple of people here from 2 different trash companies tonight. I know we have one from Big O, John, and then we have Andrew from Kimball Refuge. So, after, do you guys have anything to say? I mean, first.
Well, I'd be happy to say something. My name's John Pexkamp. I'm Vice President with Big O Refuge. We're in Newark, I know. We've enjoyed serving your township over the past 3 years and hope that we've done a good job. I know I've had a good relationship with the people here, and anytime there's been issues, we've tried to address them as best we could, whether weather-related or anything else. As mentioned, we service probably the majority of Licking County. We have about 37 contracts, Buckeye Lake, Millersport, Madison Township. We have about 30 of them in the area. The contract enables us to extend terms, enable us to extend the contract, and I've indicated to Ben that we would be willing to do so at no increase, no change in the pricing that there is. And the other thing that we would want to offer is that right now the recycling is an option, and people can pay an additional approximately $4 if they would like to recycle. We give a bin and pick it up. We would extend and then offer the recycling for no charge to the township. So right now, we have about 25 people recycling in the township. We believe very strongly about recycling, and we think that it's something that's worthwhile and every community should do. In a lot of the communities that we service, the average is somewhere around 25 to 35% of the people recycle. Some are higher, some are lower, but we think we would enhance that here if there was no change, if there was no difference in the pricing and that way. And as you know, we send a separate recycling truck one time a week to those people, the 25 that do recycle. And so beginning when the contract renews August 1st, we would offer that to everybody in the township for no charge.
So you offer free recycling to everybody?
Exactly.
Okay.
Again, our drivers enjoy servicing your community. Some of them live in the community and around here, and we like to think that we are a part of the community. So if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
I do have a question for you.
Sure.
Do you guys offer any bulk recycling, like a big bin, like if we want to put it in the village here?
Sure.
Do you guys have that?
Yeah, we do, and it's a commingled bin.
Okay.
So people can come in and put commingled materials, like you can at your house,
Sure.
at your curb,
Sure.
and we can offer that as well.
Would that be something that would be free of charge, or would that have to be charged to the township?
No, I think that could be done free of charge.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am?
Do you recycle glass?
We do.
I think that-
Yeah, I thank you very much. You've done a great job on Cherry Hill Road, I know that.
Well, thank you.
Your driver's been really great, everything else.
Do you have minutes or audio of that hearing?
Not with me now.
Excuse me,
Yeah,
could you
but,
tell us what all you
Could I have a
accept for
copy of that as soon
recycle?
as possible?
We recycle all plastics, 1 through 7, pop cans, aluminum, steel cans, food cans, you know, they come from the grocery store, newspaper, cardboard, office paper, mixed paper, junk mail, glass, just about everything that's recyclable, we take in the bin, it's commingled, and then our truck picks it up and we take it to a material recovery facility, either one in Columbus or one in Marietta.
Okay, thank you.
Very good. Before we had the meeting on Saturday, I had called John, and our contract states that if the contract, or if the township would choose to do so, and that Big O was interested, that we could extend the contract for 3 years. So I contacted Big O. He said that they were willing to. He sent me an email. I'll give that to you guys. I mean, that's not saying that's what we're going to do. It's just an option. There's the email that was followed up. And he kind of just explained to everybody what that was about, so. Talk to him. You want to say anything?
Yeah. First, I want to thank Ben. Him and I have been in contact a couple times. My name's Andrew Kimball with Kimball Recycling Disposal. We're a family-owned and operated recycling disposal hauler. We own and operate our own landfill in Dover, Ohio. We have several different transfer stations: Carrollton, Canton, Cambridge. We'd be servicing from our Cambridge facility. We again would also offer the recycling, the same items they would, separate truck. We offer the commingled recycling roll-off container that we can drop here in town. We service 28 counties in Ohio now, well over 200,000 residential customers. Close to, last time I looked, over 60 municipality and township contracts throughout Ohio. We have close to over 10,000 commercial customers throughout Ohio. We service from Lake Erie clear down to Mineral Wells, West Virginia. We were just awarded Thornville, so we're starting to move into Licking County. Just want to see what we can provide you, make sure rates are fair, and provide you good service. Thank you. Any questions?
Did you invite any of the other haulers tonight?
I didn't invite anybody, actually. Mr. Kimball actually contacted me to ask about when the contract was up. And I actually asked him how I knew about it, and he said that he'd heard about it 3 years ago, and they didn't have the opportunity to bid, but he had marked it down and said that we wouldn't forget this time. So no, I did not personally invite anybody down.
Well, everybody I've talked to, everybody seems real happy with Big O, and I have no problem just renewing it. And everybody else, everybody pretty happy with them, weren't they?
They were at the meeting.
Yeah. I thought there was gonna be, the other company was gonna have a chance to put a bid.
Yeah, if we can keep it the same price without bidding it.
I think the way the contract reads, our contract with Big O, states that if the township and the hauler hauling at this time are in agreement to extend the contract, then we have that option to do that. Extend it for another 3 years without rebidding.
Isn't that kind of a little bit like communism? That we don't give anybody else a chance?
I don't agree with that.
It shouldn't, I know, two people have a chance to put a bid in? If you call me to tow a car and somebody else calls somebody else to tow a car and they want $200 and I want $150, should you go with me for two or should you, hey, wait a minute, we better talk about this. This other person has a lower bid on his towing.
State Highway Patrol doesn't make multiple phone calls to get a better price, they just call you and tell you to come haul it.
No, well,
They're firing up.
It's no different. Go ahead.
Big O's done one hell of a job for 3 years, and I don't think they deserve to get kicked out of it or to even try to get outbid. And I'm not saying anything against anybody else, but they've done a super job for 3 years, way better than Waste Management ever did.
Yeah.
And to boot them out now would be a tragedy.
Their grandfather down.
I didn't say boot him out. What's your more bid?
It would just depend on the numbers we had to run.
They'd have to, you know, if we competitively bid it, they would put bids in. So. Did you have a comment?
Me and Donnie works on the road. Anytime they go had trouble, they didn't tear the roads up and call us. We had to go twice to help get through. Roads wasn't tore up, nobody was in business, wasn't in nobody's yard. So far, I've seen no problem with what they've done. If I did a bitch about it.
With the other ones, that was
See, in mine, all they done was tear stuff up and you lot mine.
Ben, we had Waste Management, and I had nothing to compare it to until Big O came in. I know Waste Management had missed us in a period of several years. I would say on average of 4 to 6 times a year. And sometimes they wouldn't come around until the next week to pick it up. Big O, I think, in this 3 years has missed us twice. And I think both times it was a substitute driver after I found out. I called and it was picked up same day both times. They come in the daytime, which is a good thing for us.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. Mr. Kimball, I appreciate you coming in here.
That's definitely.
But I will say, we're most happy with Big O this time.
Was there a motion on the floor? No.
I don't think so. He just said that he shared his opinion, he didn't make a motion.
Yeah.
Well, I'll make a motion to keep Big O. Extend the contract.
That would be for another 3 years.
Yeah.
Correct.
Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second.
Under discussion on that before roll call, there are definitely mistakes in the original contract. Before I was elected, I brought all those to the board's attention. I feel that we should have the legal people draw up a contract before we would proceed, even at this point, to address those issues and also to address some other things that are kind of up in the air. I'd like to see it in the contract, some specific guidelines. This dumpster up here that does have residential trash, it's being hauled out of it. It's being said that it's exempt because it's being called commercial, but the contract that we currently have talks about residential trash. It doesn't talk about dumpsters and that type of thing, so it's kind of ambiguous. I'd like to see the renewed contract specifically deal with these issues, and then there's no gray area on it.
The contract was not drawn up by the township or any members sitting on this board, it was drawn up by the prosecutor's office.
That would be who would do it.
Just so everybody knows.
that's all I have to say.
A second. Before we take a vote, I want to thank both of you guys for coming.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, we really appreciate it, most definitely. This is kind of a, I guess it's kind of a big topic here in Township, it's still pretty new, so. Definitely thank you guys for taking your time.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Ready for roll call? VanBuren,
Yeah.
Hupp,
Yes.
Corpenny,
No.
It wasn't his idea. He wasn't here when it
Okay. But any more new business? Oh, we need to get signs
Thank you, Mr. Chip. Thank you. Take care.
for children playing on Somerset.
These replacement signs,
Well, for people to slow down, their
You want children playing?
children playing. We don't get signs up there.
where,
On, just south of
Yeah.
Interstate up toward Greens and that housing development.
First stretch through there where there's a bunch of houses on either side of the road.
okay.
We can't ship playing the road, but.
is there a bus stop, a slow bus sign there or anything now?
I don't think there is.
One in each direction?
Should have one in each direction.
As far as I know, we don't have any extras of those around or anything.
I'll make a motion that we purchase two children playing signs. Is that what you said?
Yeah. Now, so-
This is just south of the interstate, so.
Yes.
So where are we gonna be placing the signs themselves?
One south of the interstate.
One south interstate, one up by Greens up in there to cover all the houses in there.
So you're gonna go pretty far the other direction.
Okay, we have a motion by Ben to purchase two signs, children playing signs for Somerset Road, second by Dan. Roll call, VanBuren.
Yeah.
Wait a second, on discussion, did a resident call and
Yeah.
have it, they have an issue with that, they're seeing a lot of speed?
Yeah.
Okay. So can I wanted to
I
ask-
do pay for road. It's a halfway straight stretch
Yep.
once you run,
I've had-
you know, past the interstate, so.
Had residents contact me about it.
But specifically Somerset Street,
Yep.
nowhere else?
Yep, that's it.
Roll call, VanBuren.
Yeah.
Hupp,
Yes.
Corpenny,
Yes. Are you gonna order those through that same supplier?
yeah.
If you recall, we moved the motion,
We'll be in contact. Take care. Thank you.
2012, that we had to purchase a certain grade sign, so we made sure that it was stamped.
Sure.
Because it was the high reflective grade that we said we'd put on.
Okay.
I have one other thing under new business. A couple things actually. Truck got paid off, correct?
Yes, and there's a check tonight.
Okay, cool.
It was less than I thought it was. It was
Save money.
15,000.
If we wanted to do a semi-big project, example, replacing the cinder building back there, do you think we would have the funds to do that?
Approximately how much would that be?
I didn't get estimates from somebody. I asked somebody, you know, what they thought it would cost, and he said about $13,000. And that would be to replace it, like a full building style barn, to reinforce the insides, new metal, you know, rough sides, all that kind of stuff.
We should be able to, it might possibly kind of fund a little bit and probably add up the numbers and such a number.
We'll put that on the agenda maybe too, see if we can look at it.
We're gonna have to start on chip and seal.
Chip seal soon too, yeah.
Figure out what we're gonna chip and seal.
All roads. You want to put that on the agenda or do you want
Yeah, let's put that on the agenda for,
to discuss it in May?
yeah, next month.
Discuss it in May, bid it in June, July.
We'll discuss it in May, we might have a special meeting.
We could bid it in June meeting, or did you need it before that?
Might bid it before the, like, middle of June.
I don't have that. It's on your plan.
Yeah, I
Here,
might do
so
that.
what are you thinking, I mean?
I think,
Right.
Oh,
Oak Woods.
Open Woods,
Yeah.
Cook Rider,
Okay. The whole thing,
yeah,
even going up the hill, I think the hill.
yeah.
Alright,
Do all Cook Rider,
okay. Even the ground part back.
yeah, well, down to the turnaround,
Right, and I'll do the cul-de-sac, but just all the way down the hill and back.
yeah. And then, I don't know if we can do lawyers, because it,
We can put that on the agenda, and then, discuss it next month, figure out what road we want to do, bid it, and. What's that?
Can you get bids?
Yeah, we can do that, if we want to do that. So we want to do it.
Well, we can submit it so we can know how
Right,
much
okay,
it is,
sure,
so we
sure.
know how much, so we know if we're gonna have enough.
okay.
Alright, so we'll discuss it next month, and we'll bid it either June or July. And then maybe we'll come in like September, October.
For chip and seal, sooner the better on that, because you get too late. If we get too late, we better hold it off to the following year.
Put that on the agenda. What do you think about that, Jeff, about possibly putting up new senior building out here?
I think we should put it on the agenda.
Well, I mean, I can go ahead and look into it, maybe talk to some people, get some bids on it. Kinda like the style that the state has out
I would
there.
say get any facts you can, and then we can have more to look at, including the budget.
I'll do that then.
Okay.
See if that's all I got.
I think that's it, isn't it, Ben?
That's all I have.
You don't have anything to do with
Nope.
it? Okay, public comment?
Wait a second, Dan, are we gonna go over the application reservation or not?
Oh, for the building?
Yeah, I noticed, I just made some notes on there when I went through it. First off, I think it would be helpful if we would, after it's updated, I think we should run it by legal to make sure everything's right on it. Johnny, is this the most current? It says it was revised January 1st, 2010.
As far as I know.
Okay. Because that's the copy I had, but
There ain't been nothing done with it since then.
What do you see that's wrong with it?
well, what I was gonna say initially, what I think we need to do, once it's all updated and the way we want it approved, I think we should get this form made in a triplicate.
Okay. Like
That
a
that way,
carbon
the volunteer at the time will have their own copy for accountability to show that what they did. The township will have their public record, and the person renting it will have their record, they paid with their information on it. Because, that way everybody is covered on it. The way I understand that it has been done. Years ago, before the park committee, we didn't even have a form, and there wasn't any accountability. And then we got accountability by having a form,
I think we did.
but I think it needs another
Rich
step.
Wright did.
You had rules, I know you had rules because we
Yeah.
updated them. But the park committee had gone over it, and it's been updated a few times since then too.
So is there anything that you think needs changed or updated besides having like a carbon copy, like a 3-page?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff on there, that's why I think we should,
Well, let's discuss it.
especially before we would print them up or anything. Small examples, to be completed by the park committee, commission member, well, that doesn't exist, so that doesn't need to be there. Just stuff like that, if we are gonna get them printed, we need it updated.
So let's discuss it so we can. Is there more than just that?
Sure. I think when we do it, maybe if you don't want to do it tonight, next meeting, I think apparently you haven't taken the time or had the time to look it over. That's why I went ahead and printed it out for you. Because, there are things on here that never were completed, like number 6. Still has a space there that we can leave it like it is. It's about building occupancy. But they can't get capacity on it until they come and actually give approval that everything that they had issues with is brought up to speed, which it hasn't been. There's some of it has been, but not all of it. That's number 6. And then under deposits, some of this stuff here, I just have some questions on it. As far as I know, nobody's ever not gotten their deposit back, and I don't think we've ever had any damages or anything.
I'll argue that. I can tell you 3 people off the top of my head that have expressed to me that they have not got their deposit back.
Really?
Yes.
Well, see, that's another thing, the form, if it's done properly, if it's not on here, obviously, it is there, date deposit return. The fiscal officer, I think, is supposed to sign off on every one of them.
She's been using for moving.
But I don't know if the deposit was given back.
So
How would I know that?
That they weren't even offered their deposit, and the
Well-
follow-up question was, did you clean it? Yes, absolutely. They said that they were told that they had to clean it, when they were done with their party, and they did, and they were never offered their deposit back.
Well, a triplicate form would help on that too, because every step of the way, whoever's gonna be
You
responsible.
can have a
for
bunch
checking.
of forms, but if the deposit ain't give back.
Yeah, but it's right here, Dan, deposit amount, check number, date deposit received. It's all right there, you have accountability for everybody. If that would come up, which, I don't, never think the board that somebody had an issue like that. But- And in 2010, when it was updated, did you run it by legal counsel to make sure everything was right? Did you recall?
I thought you did.
I wasn't here in January 2010.
I don't know then.
Do either of you have a problem doing that once we get the details worked out, having it checked out with legal counsel? And it doesn't cost us anything.
I want to see it first before you take it to them.
Well, I don't have it. I know years ago I had updated it, but it's been updated multiple times since then. So Jenny, I don't know, do you have a document file? You can edit it? I imagine, because in 2010, you probably wanted to do this.
The only thing I changed was the website.
I think there was also an issue at some point where people were, we had somebody supposedly spent overnight in there, and I think that was one of the more recent changes.
I never heard that.
That it's addressed in here somewhere.
I see it on number 14.
Is that where it is?
No, I'm sorry, 13.
But
I've never heard of
I
anybody
don't
staying
know that
overnight.
there's a big hurry on it. How's it working now? The way I understood it, at least the last several months of last year, the stuff would come in here and you agreed what was there. But prior to that, it was just between Jenny and Barb, right? You just picked it up over there and then you made her a copy and gave her a copy. But I think it'd be a lot easier since we don't have a copy machine or anything. If we have that triplicate form, whoever's taking the reservation, which would be Dawn currently. you can
Yeah, I don't have
fill
a
it out.
problem with doing some kind of receipt form, like a, whatever,
I think it'd be better than a separate receipt book. Because when I did do the one for the auctioneer, I had a generic form and I did use it and I gave the receipt back for the deposit too, but this can all be done in the same form.
If there's gonna be any correction, I wanna see it before it goes to prosecutor's office for them to review, or before we have anything printed up. So if you wanna make changes to it, but I wanna see it before
Well,
it goes out.
Jenny would be the obvious one to do that since she has the file on it. So,
I can send it to you.
okay. So can we leave that on the agenda for next month?
Yep.
And, there's no sense discussing any more details on it until we're ready to move forward.
That church crew come in here and stayed all night and had the thing. That guy over there on the roof, fix that window and stuff.
I don't call that.
We didn't have no trouble, but Jeff got his crew in there with the parts and then we started losing money.
What they stayed overnight for, just, what was the purpose?
I don't know, they just stayed, they'd come in and decorate that all up and do all their stuff.
Well, the board addressed that, that's why we added it on there, just so we wouldn't have that issue again, people thinking they could rent it overnight.
There was no money messing, Jeff, so you got Barb in there. Now we can't prove how much it's gone. If you never did any other receipts or nothing, you say you had on.
I've never had the financials or receipts or any of that stuff through the park.
That's what you say, you're supposed to pick them up.
That's not accurate, Mr. Hedges.
Well, it is.
Huh?
It's because of the truck.
I know, I was like, holy.
We said that, but I said you had a nice trip.
Yeah. Alright, do we have anything else on our new segment?
Before we go forward, I just have a question here on this. The majority of the board passed that we're renewing this contract. Are you gonna contact Amy and have her drop a new one, or what are you gonna do there? Because August 1st is when it starts, so you probably should have it by the next meeting or something.
They draw the last one up.
We have 90 days. I mean, it's gonna be the same contract. It's just gonna be between us and Big O, so we'll have to make some signatures and pretty much be it.
Add recycling into that.
So
Yeah, I'll make sure that he does that.
are you gonna handle that then, have it, have maybe
Yep.
have something for us at the next meeting?
Yep. Is that it? Public comment?
Public comment?
Sorry. The Friends of Bowling Green Township hosted this year's Easter egg hunt, and we would like to thank everyone who came out and helped stuff eggs. It was really a big success. We had about 50 children there. A lot of the residents were very happy with the way that we divided the age groups up, so the children, little children found as many eggs as the older kids did. We want to thank Dan VanBuren and Ben Hupp, who voted to allow funds out of the township for us to host the Easter egg hunt, even though Jeff voted no, not to let us have any of the money to put on the Easter egg hunt. We also want a special thanks to Liz Salig for playing the Easter Bunny. A lot of the kids got their picture taken with the Easter Bunny, and the Easter Bunny gave all of the kids a special treat. We did recycle the eggs so that we don't have that expense next year. Thank you, Ben, for the help that you did the day of the event. Everyone who came out, the seniors had a really great bake sale. They said they made more money than they've ever made at one of their bake sales. Barb Salig did face painting for the children, and there is a video on YouTube. So thank everyone who worked on that, because it really turned out very nice.
The seniors donated the money for $186
Yes.
from the bake sale.
We really appreciate all your guys' help and effort. I know it's a lot of work. And, nothing but positive comments. I mean, people were happy. You know, and we like that.
Okay, good.
We're getting tires dumped out on Mount Hope Road. There's a couple of them's been out there since last year. When the county mowed, they mowed right over them. Wanted to let you know.
On Mount, like, if you go down Mount Hope, right on the right before you get to any houses.
Yep,
Yep.
down at the bottom of the hill.
How many's there now?
And then,
How many do you think's there?
I think there's 5 there. Then up on the top, there's 2 where they mowed over them.
Okay, we'll get them.
Last year.
We'll get them. Where do you want us to put them at?
Yeah, I was talking to the Licking Township down in Jacktown.
Yeah.
And they said something about the state was gonna have a tire roundup or something. I don't know if you guys knew anything about that or not.
We had the opportunity to take part in that, and we kind of got shut out of it
Okay.
because of Jeff. So
Well, when's that happen?
yeah.
That's not accurate.
That is accurate. It was supposed to take part this summer, that there was going to be several places in the county, through the county. And we would have had to sign up before our official meeting, before we could have took an official vote on it. I was for it, Dan was for it. Jeff must not have been, so he chose to tell them that we did not.
That's not accurate.
On these signs, everybody's wondering about, they're too big and junky. We went up and took that one down from Honda Hills, now you can look out west when you're coming out on the fourth.
Thank you. Anytime that super
It
silly.
was an accident,
You did a good
they're looking for a place to have it.
That's right.
Now you got the one up there, Urban Use, they're letting it fall down.
Yeah.
They put them up and use them, when they're done, they should have to take them down.
That's right, yeah.
What did you do with that sign you removed?
Jeffrey, if you would come out and talk to somebody and look around, you'd know it. It's in his yard where the man asked us to bring it back to him.
It was given back to the property, to the owner of the sign. We put it up.
I appreciate an answer.
You got it.
Okay.
Did anybody ever find out what happened to the money that our church gave the township? For renting the tables?
I didn't know.
Barbara Weisman was in charge of that.
Yeah. It never got to the township, or it never got, nobody knows?
I don't know.
That was for rental of the table from the yard sale? Is that what it was? No.
Everybody
It was
had
at
to
the
pay so much for a
bazaar.
table.
The bazaar.
Okay.
Bazaar,
Was that the church that did the bazaar with the seniors, I don't recall.
Christmas time.
Okay.
Either way, I think it was a free rental, wasn't it? I don't think it was paid for. I don't think it was.
But
Yeah,
what,
the
but they're not saying that the rental was free or charged, you're saying you guys.
They were
each-
charged to rent a table.
Our church paid
So they
$30
were
an
asking
hour.
where that money went.
I understand that.
Who put it on? Do you know who put it on? Was it,
I don't have.
it wasn't the township, I know that.
They
Right,
paid
that's what I'm
somebody to, per table.
Barbara Whiteley was in charge of it. It was in the paper, it was advertised in the paper several times, that if you were interested in a table, to call Barbara Wiseman, and it gave her a home phone number.
Wow.
Was that through the church or was it through the seniors, do you know which group it was?
There was some
Pardon me?
seniors there making food.
Yeah, it may have been a combined thing, I was just wondering who actually, whose fundraiser was it? Was it the churches or was it the?
Was it what?
Check or cash?
I don't,
Okay.
you know, yeah, the person that was actually sitting there all the time at the tables was Flora Hill. She was probably the one that paid it. I have to ask her, but it was probably cash. She said it was $10 a table.
And the money was supposed to go to,
I don't know, it was just a rent
we
table.
didn't put it on, so, yeah, we
We
didn't put
don't
it
know
on.
where it went.
So, yeah,
Maybe
I think it's,
they have a group that they've asked me about if I wanted to join
Brownsville Senior
that
Citizens
has to do
Fund.
with senior citizens, and they do something each month. Maybe that it went to that, I don't know,
You'd have to talk to them.
I don't know. Maybe it went to that, because they made the food,
That's not part of the township, so you'd have to talk to them.
so it could have went to that they were putting it on.
Yeah, I don't know.
I got one more question. I'm concerned about what is the rule of the township for swimming pools? Fences on swimming pools. Is there a rule?
I can answer that, I don't know. I'd have to look at the
In our
zoning.
zoning, there's a,
Did Bob tell you?
in our zoning, there's stipulations of fences and heights and things like that, if I recall.
Every swimming pool in the township?
Well, there's certain,
There's state regulations and
Yeah,
insurance
that's what
regulations.
I'm just gonna say.
But it is addressed somewhat, it may not be complete in there, but it is in our zoning.
Yeah.
I don't know, I mean,
Somebody will find out, right?
if you'd like me to ask, I can see what the rules and regs are. Sure.
It's 48 inches off the ground. I know because I just haven't even put in, mine's 52.
Have for the next meeting? Have for the next
Did you
meeting?
say, it has, did you say it has to do with the height of the pool?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know, that doesn't make sense, because you can drown in a cup of water. You know, how deep, whether it's 3 feet, 4 feet, 2 feet, whatever, a kid can drown.
I'll make sure that,
And could I have the zoning inspector's time for the January, February, March, and April?
Yes, you can. I will get that to you.
Thank you very much.
any more?
I have one question. The guardrail on Honda Hills Road by the creek is starting to give in again. And a while ago, we were gonna put some arrow signs on that corner so people know not to hit that guardrail. But those things never happen and they're still hitting it. So it's falling now down there. It's like this now.
right past Mike Pitcher's house.
Right past the, yeah, between,
Not to get-
Mike, what's your name, and Jimmy's, my Jim's house,
Okay.
in there.
Okay.
And it's at a, whatever angle that is now.
We'll look at it, see if we can
Yeah,
straighten
okay.
it.
I'm worried that someone's gonna hit that and it's gonna
Sure,
fall right in and kill them.
sure. Yeah, okay, we'll see what we can do out there. Definitely.
Okay.
And I'll look, we might have some arrow signs back here. I'll look and see. For the directional arrows,
Yeah.
I don't know if we do.
Well, if they don't order them signs for that, you know, it's never one.
Okay, well, we're gonna order some other signs, so.
There's several signs back there. I don't know if they're the proper size for that area, but we do have some back there.
It is really dangerous right there, especially if someone's flying down Honda Hills Road.
Definitely. Okay. Yeah, we'll have to take a look at it.
Anybody else?
Just a question. The pole deal is the state, it's got to be at least, if it's above ground, that's your fence right there. But the ladder's got to go up. If it's in ground, you got to have at least a 4-foot fence with the gates locked. That's right in the zone and everything else.
That's what I said, I just have a
No, I
new.
think
You're saying if it's above ground.
I don't know, this is just, what Mr. Ball's saying, if it's above ground, and we'll get the rules for you, it said that was your fence right there, as long as the ladder was tipped up, if it's above ground. If it's in ground, you have to have a 4-foot fence with a lock gate.
Yes.
Okay, so,
But see, I don't know, like those ones you go to Walmart and buy that have the blow up ring, I don't know, I don't know if that would qualify, I don't know.
Plastic,
yeah, there's been kids take the ladders and move them over there,
Sure.
so.
I'll see what I can find for you in our rules.
I got one more.
If you put a deck on it, you have to have the deck fenced.
Okay, Mr. Corpenny, I don't know when this was, when he won part as the president of the park committee, it's on tape where how honest and all this she was. And I just want to thank God that Ben and Danny and Jenny, all three of you kept a close eye on her the last few months. Because she, so far I know, $4,500 from the cemetery, another almost $5,000 from the church, and she paid back the senior citizens their $300. And hard to tell what she took from the park, but if that's what kind of person he wants to run our township, that's kind of trouble we're always going to have. You don't know who he picks. He should have ran a background check. And she had 7 other problems in the past. So if he's so good about the computer and all this paperwork he wants done, why didn't he check her out or even have her bonded? That's it.
The president of the park committee hasn't been determined by anybody on this board. They've always decided who that would be among themselves, and that's how that was determined, who the president was.
No, I don't think he was stating that.
No, and don't try to change the words around.
Anybody else? I make a motion to pay bills.
Do you owe me anything?
Let's see if we got one here for you.
No, I'm thinking.
Okay, what about Culver?
First check is
That's line went down, it's like, thank you God, whoever did that. I was gonna do it myself, and I thought I'd get in trouble.
I'm not sure.
Save my son's life.
4424, $255.11. Parts and maintenance. First one's for phone and mileage on Eastern Penn, you reimbursement. Second one is for hourly. $255.11. That 44.
Anything that would attract. No, I read some of some. Yeah, for education. I have USDA license. Somebody like
asphalt paving,
big truck, because they check for rabies, but they would. I don't want to get. Should I tap this or something? Which one is Jeff's camera?
Check 4410, Taylor Trucking, $1,069.95. Calling cash. Jenny, do you have the bills for Ace Truck Equipment, $10.16.
You got the whole cocktail.
The line in front of you.
Pleasant Valley Limestone, $37.4408. One, price $107.
Right down to the last second.
I'd like an explanation why. I've asked you month after month and you've never answered.
Sign the check,
Again, this is 4405, this is non-recycling company, And you have the bills for the State 4404, $204 in fees for the second quarter of 2014. Thomas Clayton.
trees.
Yeah, I noticed there's tons of two people.
I knew when I was time to work. We're not going to use it. We're trying to do it.
This is a time. Oh, yeah, thank you. I told you that. So somebody filled it out.
That's for somebody.
So, you hired how many people? That time she's been writing Sabine and Jimmy out.
That's correct. When I called you, we need help from the trees, did you ever answer? We need help.
I never asked.
I called you several times, Jeff, and you never
So
answered.
you're telling me you've hired 3 people in the last month? One of them you're not doing a time sheet on, 2 of them you're doing a time sheet.
I mean, that's as cheap as you can.
Money? 4420 is Excavation Unlimited LLC.
Thanks, brother. Let me see if we-
For the electric rental, for advertisement, $92.52, check 4417.
Unless you really do, yeah. So unless you do that.
No,
No, I looked at,
I will.
already.
Inglefield Oil Company,
There's
4416.
always been 2.
$1,161.43 for bulk fuel.
Yeah, just crunch it off.
I don't know why. So,
Park National Bank, 4415.
See, I know what's what.
Truck payoff, $15,286.60.
Yeah, I know, yeah, see, I do the, I do everything hard.
4403. Daniel Nelson VanBuren, 62132. Jack Richard Hedges, 4423, $380.
Denny has it.
26 cents.
If it's free, I can find it.
I'll figure out for you.
Yeah. This I don't have any.
I do that.
Spend an extra money. If it's free, it's fine. Let's go.
We'll find out more when
I don't know
Samuel Allen, $87.96. Same thing, Brian Swig, $86.46. John Watkins. Check 4426, $412.41. John Watkins.
He can stay in there for We're gonna make you a flag or something. Slow and stop. Slow and
It's a Wednesday, May 14th.
Okay, we got two checks left here. One is for VanBuren and one is mine. Dan's is 4403, $621.32.
Well, that's what we're pricing it.
Okay, Dan, now, once again, I'm asking you why you're not signing this check. I signed yours, Ben's, Jenny's, as per what's laid out in the Ohio Revised Code, and I do it every month. Why are you again not signing this?
I'd like to also read into the record. I'd like to also read into the record that Mr. Corpenny has neglected to sign,
Guys work for us.
I'm calling payroll checks, people that put in hours for us. He neglected to sign those too, so we'll put it right down the record. We have Mr. Brian Slee, Mr. Sam Allen, and Mr. Thomas Clayton. The checks were not signed by Mr. Jeffrey Corpenny.
That's right, apparently unbeknownst to the board, people were hired without
And
discussion.
we serve that when we see we're getting low, and we can just.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
We'll keep the water.
So no answer, Dan,
And then-
why you're not signing the check again?
Oh, now we're just gonna have like poles and everything.
You got yours?
I'm telling you, they ain't dropping it on the floor. If I eat breakfast, everything takes a few minutes.
Oh, man.
It starts at 5, or starts
Well,
Yeah.
but I already knew that.
No, the other one is, I wanna go see the baby line.
Oh, yeah.
Anything else you can think of that we need?
Where's that? No, I don't know where it's here.
It's on your driveway, it's actually.
I know, I think.
They must be going to build it.
48, but it's lost.
Oh, okay.
Is it on the same side as the expansion?
And that's
Yeah.
You know, the new they don't
Yes.
go past that.
Yes.
Yeah. Go down. Stop there, you start down.
Because you're starting down the T1, and the driver for sure drives up.
Yeah.
I want to go feed the kitty. But that's all grown up bit. He drives out that survey and sees if it eats, if township is right out.
We probably should do
Wow, down there and all that time, we gonna get, sorry, I can't do this.
That's right. You want me to?
Yeah, just send that to them, and it's actually due tomorrow, but
Shouldn't have.
I'm sure they won't
Yeah.
be too upset, they won't be charging insurance.
And
I know.
it should stay closed.
Let me know when we're getting this stuff.
Well, yeah, but what happened, keep on charging you? He said, he's good. That's right.
I'm sure that was, you know, I'm sure that was one.
Yeah, they find it out there. But they do all, they have it all paperwork. They do all the work, they don't find one. That's right. And sorry.
Could be a good, and could be a bad.
Tomorrow.